920, which suspends certain requirements of the Brown Act. This meeting is being webcast on Comcast TV channel 15 and live streamed on the city's YouTube channel at https://www.youtube.com/user/City of Hayward and on the city website at https://hayward.legistar.com/calendar.aspx. The mayor will call upon members of the city council, city staff, and other speakers by name and ask that they state their names before giving comments or remarks. Individuals participating via Zoom with their cameras enabled are reminded that their activities are visible to viewers. City council members and members of the public participating by Zoom wishing to speak should use the raise hand feature, and the mayor will call upon them at the appropriate time. Members participating via teleconference wishing to speak should dial *9, and they will be called upon by the last 4 digits of their phone number. It is requested that public speakers state their names and organizations, but providing such information is voluntary. Written public comments received by email at list-mayor-council@hayward-ca.gov, city clerk at hayward-ca.gov, or via e-comment by 3 p.m. will be distributed to the city council and staff, published on the city's meeting and agenda center under documents received after published agenda, and entered into the record. Documents received after 3 p.m. through the adjournment of the meeting will be included as part of the meeting record and published the following day. A roll call vote will be taken for all action items. In order to get the full Zoom experience, please make sure your application is up to date. Public members wishing to speak with the City Council can send an email to list-mayor-council@hayward-ca.gov or cityclerk@hayward-ca.gov.
And with that, I want to welcome everyone to this meeting of the Hayward City Council. And I will call this meeting to order and ask you to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Madam City Clerk, will you call the roll?
Yes, Madam Mayor. Good evening. Councilmember Andrews.
Present.
Councilmember Lamnin.
Present.
Councilmember Marquez.
Present.
Councilmember Salinas.
Present.
Here. Councilmember Wahab.
Here.
Councilmember Cermeño.
Present.
Mayor Halliday.
Here.
Thank you. All 7 members present.
Okay, that brings us to our closed session announcement. And I will turn it over to our city attorney, Mr. Lawson, to give us the closed session announcement for this evening.
Mayor and Council, the Council convened in closed session at 5 p.m. pursuant to the posted notice with all members present. 1, the Council met with its labor bargaining team and discussed all bargaining groups. The Council took no reportable action. 2, the Council met with its property negotiating team to discuss Caltrans Route 238 Parcel Group 5. The Council took no reportable action. And finally, the third item dealing with anticipated litigation with Councilmember Marquez recusing herself. The Council discussed one matter in this category and the Council took no reportable action. The closed session adjourned at 6:50 p.m. That concludes the report.
Thank you. Now, this evening, we have a special presentation to issue a proclamation regarding Asian and Pacific Islander and Native Hawaiian Heritage Month, actually. So I'm going to go ahead and read this. And whereas May is Asian American and Native Native Hawaiian Pacific Islander Heritage Month, a time designated by the U.S. Congress to celebrate Asian people from the continent of Asia and the Pacific Islands of Melanesia, Micronesia, and Polynesia, as well as the native Hawaiians of the Hawaiian Islands, and to recognize their immense and significant contributions to our national identity, culture, and well-being. And whereas Hayward is home to people from all parts of Asia, with more than 25% of our population having roots on the Asian continent or Pacific Islands, and whereas Hayward enjoys and benefits from its strong relationship with 3 Asian cities, Funabashi, Japan, Ghazni, Afghanistan, and Xinjiang, China, and has exchanged visits, gifts, and warm friendship with all of them. And whereas Asian Americans and Native Hawaiians and Pacific Islanders serve as leaders, innovators, and creators in all aspects of our society, including business, education, arts, healthcare, entertainment, and government, and are credited with many significant accomplishments and achievements. And whereas during the current COVID-19 pandemic, we have heard alarming reports of increasing acts of hostility, harassment, and hatred toward Asian Americans occurring in the aftermath of inappropriate comments from elected officials and others regarding the origin of coronavirus. And whereas in the wake of a time when acts of anti-Asian acts are more prevalent, President Biden stated that acts of anti-Asian bias are wrong, they are un-American, and they must stop. My administration will continue to stand shoulder to shoulder with the Asian Pacific Island Native Hawaiian communities and in condemning, denouncing, and preventing these acts of violence. We will continue to look for opportunities to heal together and fight against the racism and xenophobia that still exists in our country. And whereas Hayward has made a commitment to being an inclusive, equitable, and compassionate community that recognizes and honors the cultures, customs, and celebrations of our members, and believes it is vital to the health and well-being of all community members that we build a relationship of trust between our immigrant communities and the local public agencies that are entrusted with public safety. Whereas be it resolved that we renew our commitment to honor our Asian American and Native Hawaiian Pacific Islander community by recognizing May as Asian American and Native Hawaiian Pacific Islander Heritage Month, and to protect their health and safety by condemning and opposing acts and expressions of hatred against them. Now, therefore, I, Barbara Halliday, Mayor of the City of Hayward, and on behalf of the City Council, do hereby proclaim the month of May as Asian American and Native Hawaiian Pacific Islander Heritage Month in the City of Hayward, and hereby urge all Hayward residents to join in celebrating this month in Hayward and condemning all forms of harassment and expressions of hatred, particularly in connection with the COVID-19 pandemic, against members of our Asian American and Native Hawaiian Pacific Islander community. And so accepting this evening is Danby Lay, and she represents, I understand, a number of Asian groups. And so Ms. Lay, and I see you there. Please, if you'd like to say a few words. I can't physically present the proclamation, but it will be sent to you, a nice proclamation framed and everything. So go ahead and if you wish to make a few comments, please go ahead.
Yes, thank you so much, Mayor Halliday and council members. And I want to give a special thank you to Councilmember Wahab for collaborating on this proclamation. I'm also so happy that Congress today passed an Asian and Asian American hate crime legislation, and that was by a bipartisan vote. As a scholar and expert on Asian American politics, member of the Asian Pacific Labor Alliance, organizer with Asian American Pacific Islander Women Lead, and member of Asian Pacific Islander Faculty and Staff Association, I feel proud to be living and working in a city that recognizes the diversity of its residents. Violence against Asian Americans is an issue that has been pervasive in American history. It did not start with COVID, and it will not end with COVID. Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders have long been cast aside and silenced as the other. We are not a model minority. We are not a monolith. We are proud of our heritage, and we are part of the community, and we stand in solidarity with other communities of color. This past weekend, Cal State East Bay honored our graduates with a commencement. I watched the graduates cross the letters and was so proud of the diversity of our student body. It is a testament of the importance of providing access to education and cultivating a safe environment to allow students to explore their real histories and have pride in their roots. Hearing the cheering from their friends and family is a reminder that we cannot achieve greatness without our community. I am pleased to be part of the Hayward community that supports our campus community. Together, we can combat discrimination, racism, and hatred. I want to thank Hayward City Council for being responsive to the needs of our faculty, staff, and students. Every time I reached out to City Council members, whether it be to tour City Hall, be a guest on a panel, or for a permit to gather, council members have been responsive and supportive. So again, I want to thank Hayward City for recognizing the culture and value the AAPI community has contributed and for uplifting our voices. I want everyone to please join me in celebrating AAPI Heritage Month by supporting local AAPI businesses in the community, including my two favorite places, Hayward City Pho and Marley's Treats. So thank you again, Hayward City Council.
And thank you. And we will be sending that that petition on. The proclamation, and it will look much nicer than a piece of paper that I read from this evening. So thank you, and thank you for representing the community. And I know that we have, that our Asian Pacific Island, Native Hawaiian community is very strong, and even within the city government is very strong, and we're very proud of it too. So thank you. We are opposed to all discrimination and hate speech in Hayward against any group. So, okay. So with that, we're now going to move into the public comment part of our program. And if you would like to make a public comment on any item that is not otherwise on our agenda this evening, this is the time to do that. So, with that, I will turn this over to our city clerk, who to call on, I think we do have at least one person who wishes to speak.
Yes, Madam Mayor, thank you. But before we do that, I'd just like to remind our residents or community members, if they like to join the meeting, the information that is on the screen will allow them to join the meeting. So we're showing the meeting ID, the passcode, and for those dialing in, they have the phone number and also the meeting ID and password. So I just wanted to make that announcement as we normally do, and also remind them that if they wish to speak, they have to select the raise hand button there. If they are dialing in, they have to press *9 so that we could know that they are wishing to speak. And to unmute, they could press *6. So just wanted to make that reminder for our community members. And with that, I'm going to stop.
City Clerk?
Yes.
Len? Sorry. We did receive an email from Miss Go, who is having some difficulties. I guess her and her neighbors who have been wanting to make public comments for some time now are having difficulty. Would you be able to at least put the meeting ID on the screen just for a little while longer, just to ensure that they can see it and be able to log in?
Sure, certainly. I could. Let me see. Are you able to see that?
This one, yes, but I think one slide
Yeah,
back.
that's not the one.
Prior one.
One with the information.
Yeah, that.
All right. That's good. All right. I could leave it on. The only thing is that I don't see who's requested to speak. But Mayor Halliday, if you see them, are you able?
Oh, I see. Yes. TJ from Hayward Concerned Citizens is first in the list.
Okay. Thank you. Let me see if I could. I might have to stop sharing for a minute because I am not able to allow the attendees to speak. So go ahead.
Good evening. I'm TJ, and I wanted to speak on behalf of our group, Hayward Concerned Citizens. Our main cause as a group has been to raise awareness of decisions coming to council that impact our city and all of its residents. Our secondary goal has been to ensure opportunities for everyone in Hayward to be acknowledged and have their own voice be heard. I feel we've done a good job of that, and I'm proud for what we've accomplished so far. Being a part of this group has truly taught me to appreciate the weight of the decisions faced by our council and the work that goes into managing our city. It has also helped me to appreciate the power of community's ability to pull together to rally around what's important to them, despite our diverse backgrounds and varying perspectives on city matters. I've seen so many instances of neighbors saying, "What is this about? Why did they do that? Nobody asked us." I hope that in the near future, our city leaders can help cultivate even more dialogue with our residents in alternate ways, especially for those who don't have access to or embrace the internet, to get information out and give a chance for input before items come to the agenda, like the Patrick Avenue remodel, as an example. I thank you for your respect and for listening when we've called in, and I'll wrap it up with my resounding, please support our Hayward Police. That's it for now. Thanks.
Thank you. Next is George Drapeau. I pronounced that right?
Okay. Hey, I'm unmuted. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Hi there. So I'm a neighbor of Velda, of Ms. Go, and I just emailed her the on-screen phone instructions and tested them. She should be able to join soon, I hope. I won't be able to state what I wanted to talk about as eloquently as she can, but I think you've seen her talk about the issue with Campus Drive and how dangerous it's been and what we're requesting for help. I'm not sure what to say. We've been a resident here since September 2008. We love being here in the neighborhood, my wife, our 5-year-old kid, and myself. But we've seen many, many accidents of all kinds of magnitudes, different magnitudes of danger along Campus Drive. I've seen a telephone pole being knocked down by a car speeding down here, seen several vehicle accidents, seen cars slide right after the rains as they're speeding uphill on a curve and crash into houses that are on Campus Drive and not protected from the street. I've seen fire hydrants being knocked over multiple times. Every single time there's rain, there's danger because the roads get slicked and there's really nothing to really slow people down. It scares me. My mother-in-law will take my son walking to the Cal State campus, which is a wonderful thing. And that direction is kind of okay, but the Greenbelt Trail is at the bottom of Campus Drive, and I simply won't take him down there for a walk because it's just not safe. I could go on and on, but I guess what I'm asking for is what we've written about an email to have. We're asking for some funding or some way to put in measures to reduce the speed of the traffic and measures to mitigate some of the danger that's going on. Velda knows better than we do. I think there's been a lot of discussion about a development project going on that may bring more traffic to Campus Drive. Oh man, that's gonna be a problem. It's gonna be trouble. And I guess I'm looking for some guidance as well about what we in the neighborhood can do to address or to get some sort of action being taken. We appreciate that you've been responsive to emails so far, very much, especially Aisha Lahab. Thank you so much for being responsive to that. That means a lot. I'm not sure what we should do next to take action. So we're looking for recommendations here and some action on the city's part. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And what I would say is I think we're all very much aware of it. I do think you should have gotten a email from the city manager today about a plan. We have done some things. Apparently they haven't worked, but I think a start is to meet with the neighborhood to talk about the options that we do have and then to go forward. and I will say this is not the only street in the city that we are facing these issues on, and that speeding throughout the city is a problem. And I don't, short of the legislature passing a bill to, which they do have in right now, to at least move forward with allowing speed enforcement cameras, which I would be very much in favor of using on some of these areas to slow people down. There are some other things we can do to calm traffic, and I think that we will look forward to working with your neighborhood to do that. Okay, Madam City Clerk. Now I'm not seeing Ms. Go coming up. Is she on the phone?
Yeah, I did call. I just called her, and she was sending an email. So she says she's now trying to join the meeting. So let's give it a minute. But she was trying to send an email.
If you can get her on the, is that her? Did she just, is that, oh.
Yes, I believe that.
Yes, great.
Okay.
Hello, everyone.
Yes, hello, Ms. Go. Please go ahead. It's good that
Oh, who am I speaking with?
This is the mayor.
Oh, hi, Mayor Halliday. We are so happy we're in. I sent it to some other people, so hopefully they'll be calling in too.
All right. Well, we're happy that you made it in, so please go ahead.
I had my birthday party today, so I'll try to sound intelligent still. I did send everyone an email. Hopefully, it was a little late, about 7:06, but hopefully everyone received it.
Yes, I'm looking at them right now. Yes, I did anyway. I'm sure everyone
Fabulous. I sent it to everyone, and I just want to say that I'm very happy about the email I received today from the city manager, Kelly. Thank you very much. And Aisha sent that forward. Also, I hope I'm not mispronouncing your name. So I did go through the document, and I just want to say I'm quite impressed with the document. I've been living here for 13 years, and it's quite a piece of work. So I did learn quite a bit about the city that I didn't know before. So I'm very excited about the plans that you have set moving forward for Hayward. And I just was a bit disappointed that Campus Drive was not mentioned once, but I am feeling very positive about the email that I received today. And so I sent in some information in my email sent May 15th and also continued that with the email I sent today. And so am encouraged by the information about a traffic consultant, and look for the time when we can all sit down and talk about the possibilities of, making this street safe, because it is just pretty harrowing right now. And we've lived here before these changes. And the biggest fear, council members and mayor, is that when all of these folks come in from the Parcel 6, and I know we did meet with Steve, I forgot his last name, but the developer guy, and he's stating that, the opening for the development is 3/4 miles from Campus Drive. And when you drive that takes exactly not even a minute to get from that 3/4 mark to Campus Drive. And so knowing what I know about this neighborhood, people are definitely going to be using Campus Drive. And even though there are rules, and we know that there are rules and all that, it has been proven on our street that the people are not complying with the rules. And so this is kind of why, one of the reasons, in addition to the other stuff we've issued in our various letters and communications to you, this is why we're raising the red flag now, because, you're in a major development. And we don't want this to be an after the fact thing, which it will be much harder once all the trucks are gone and all the professionals are, packed up and gone to the next project, to have this looked at right now, because people are definitely going to be using Campus Drive from that development, not only the residents, but their family members, the business persons that visit them, you know, any associates, all the people that visit our homes in a regular course of living.
Ms. Go?
Yes.
Yes, I am really sorry to interrupt you. We do have time limits on public comments.
Okay, I've said it all. It's in my emails and
a larger conversation. We will be holding a meeting as soon as possible with people in your neighborhood. Probably we'll have to do it on Zoom at this time, right now if we do it. But I know we're all committed to trying to make the situation better. So I'm sorry to have to cut you off now, but we do have time limits on public.
No, I appreciate what you're saying. I think we're on the same page, aren't we, Mayor?
Yes, I hope we are.
Okay, I appreciate it, and that's really all I need to say. I've sent you the documents with all the details, so.
Okay, yes, you have, and we look forward to having more dialogue, but we can't do it right now. But
thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. So, Madam City Clerk, no, that was her, right? That was, yeah. So do we have any other public? Yes, there we have someone. Constituent Cower.
Hi there, can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Hi there, thank you. I will go by constituent core. I live in Hayward, California. I want to express my support for the items that are being shared today. First and foremost, funding a mental health crisis response team and moving the 911 call center away from the police department. And then doubling the funds addressing homelessness and housing affordability. And then lastly, creating a Hayward Social Services Department. And I want to speak a little bit and share my own experience with this. I've very recently just...
We haven't gotten to that. You are trying to speak about an item that is on our agenda this evening. It's item number 10. Are you able to stay with us and come back and speak when we get to that item?
Yes, absolutely. I'm sorry. I just dropped in. I didn't realize.
Okay. All right. No, that's fine. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but that would be, and it shouldn't take us too long to get there. So hopefully.
Sure. I'll be on the line. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. And I'll just say, this is for anybody who may have joined us recently or just now, this is the public comment part of our meeting for comments regarding anything, regarding things that are not otherwise on our agenda this evening. So I'm not seeing any more hands raised at the moment. Madam City Clerk, is that, you're not seeing anyone wanting to speak now? And okay, we just got one. Ronnie Stewart, and this probably is a public comment, so please put him on.
All right, thank you. Please go ahead.
Mr. Stewart? I don't know if he's there.
If you could please unmute Mr. Stewart.
I don't see him on.
Let me see, maybe. I'm going to try. How about now, Mr. Stewart? Are you able to unmute? I think he dropped.
Okay. There's another hand up. I don't know if that's.
Okay. Yeah, the last digit.
Oh, is that it?
Oh, okay. Mr. Stewart?
I just unmuted. Is that it?
Yes.
We can hear you. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank God. I've been trying for the last hour. Hi, I'm Ronnie Stewart, Executive Director, West Coast Blues Society, and also the producer of the first annual Hayward Juneteenth celebration and the Hayward Russell City Music Series. I'm calling tonight because there's been changes with, obviously, because of coronavirus. There's been some major changes in presenting the event. So we're going virtual with it. And because of that, the costs are relevant. They're the same almost as the only big difference is maybe a PA system, but the costs are the same. I'm also calling about this year we'll get through it, but next year Our budget is for $98,000. I'd like to see that go through the general fund because Hayward, culturally speaking, is very starved for entertainment as far as, and I don't look at Juneteenth as entertainment. It's celebrating the Emancipation Proclamation. We shouldn't be treated just like another event. It should be funded through the general fund so that we don't have to go through all that paperwork of qualifying based on your budget, because I'm not saying it's a way of discrimination, but it is a way of holding you back, because obviously for 2020, there's no budget. We didn't have no income. So to also, one more point, I'd like to try and get 5,000 more. We asked for 15, but we only got 10. I've already had to borrow money because the way the structure is, the way we get paid, we have to, and I'm going to ask the committee if they could make a decision to change that payment to one payment. You guys are the only city that I know of, I've been on panels and panelists that does this. I don't know if it's to check people's validity or what, but I think it's handicapping and it's costing a lot trying to film and put this together. Editing in film, that's where the money's at. Also, you got to remember, I can't use images. I'm a member of BMI and ASCAP. I've been a member since 1971. And you can't use people's sets that we recorded and not pay them. So in other words, everything stay constant. But again, if the commission could, I know they said to spend the money on homeless shelters and stuff, but Hayward is off the cultural map, and I'm ashamed of that because we had one of the biggest blues festivals in the United States. I know I'm running out of time. This other person behind me is going to yield my time, so I'm leaving. So anyway,
Will,
I just really want to make sure that.
Yeah, we understand. Thank you. Okay, with that, there is another hand up on
the last three digits, 988. If you could please press *6 to unmute.
Hi, my name is Tony Wynn, and I'm just calling to say that I am happy that you guys are dedicating Juneteenth to Russell City. My family owned 80 acres in Russell City, and I just am so happy to hear that you guys may dedicate Juneteenth to that, to Russell City. Also, my mother was a singer at the clubs in Russell City. If you go to the mural on A Street, the woman there is my mother. And it would be really nice to have all of our family come there to represent our hometown, Russell City. So I would just like to say yes to having you guys approve the Juneteenth to represent Russell City. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So with that, I'm not seeing any other requests to speak. And so I'm going to go ahead and close.
Mayor, I have my hand up.
Oh, sorry, I'm not on the panelists. Okay, go ahead, Councilmember Wahab.
Thank you. And I just want to start off by thanking Director Amiri for making sure that we had the proper communication with the residents that have tried a couple times to reach out to us. And to our city manager, I have a quick question. The funding for the Russell City's Juneteenth celebration, or did they apply to the funding that we have provided for community events?
That's my understanding, is they went through the community agency funding process where we have a dedicated pool of funds for arts and events.
Okay, and the maximum at the time, I do recall that was about $10,000, correct?
I think it varied. I don't think there was a set maximum per event, and the Community Services Commission looks at each event, their ask, and then allocates funding as is available. As the council will remember, there's always more requests than there is available funding, so they often have to make tough choices to limit the amount of funding that's available.
Okay. I would be supportive if we did ask for just to cover them, but I'll definitely be supportive, in the conversation online if we can do that. Those were my questions. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Andrews.
Can you explain the reimbursement process and if there's any leeway on that?
Typically, we have, given some of the audits that we had faced, we updated our community agency funding process where each group has to get a contract with the city and go through a contracting process. I think, for some of these agencies, we could look at if there was a way really to sort of streamline that process. I know it's quite cumbersome for some of the smaller agencies, so I can talk with the staff about that and see if there's anything that we can do. But yes, it's typically on a reimbursement basis.
Okay, that'd be helpful if you can connect with them about that. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And with that, we are going to close public comment and move back to our action items. And so our consent calendar this evening is items 1 through 7. Is there anyone who would like to pull anything off of that? Councilmember Wahab?
I'll move all the items if nobody's pulling it. And I would just also like to thank Ms. Lawrence for her dedicated service on the Community Services Commission.
All right. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second.
Okay. And wait a minute. Let me see. There's Madam City Clerk, could you find out if this hand is raised to pull any of the items off of the consent calendar or speak to any of them? It's listed as Castro Valley Yoga.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and allow to talk. Please go ahead.
Hi, sorry about that. I must be logged in on my wife's account for her yoga studio. This is Zachariah Okenda. I just wanted to poll and comment on the consent calendar item for Alicia Lawrence. I don't have to pull it if I could be allowed to comment on it. I don't know how that works procedurally, but I'll just stop there and see.
Go ahead and comment on it.
If you don't mind.
Group it in with the others when we vote.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you for the flexibility procedurally. I just wanted to elevate Ms. Lawrence's service in the community, and I've had the privilege of being able to work with her, and I know that she's a really dedicated advocate and has done a lot of really great work and really poured a lot of her time and energy and passion into service for the city. I'm really sad to see her going, and I know that we'll be missing her and her advocacy, and I will be missing her as a friend and a colleague, and so I just wanted to give that shout out to Alicia and let everybody know that I'm really grateful, and she's done a lot for the city. So thank you so much for giving me the chance to share that, and that's all I have to say.
All right, thank you. And so with that, and seeing no other hands raised, wait a minute. I'm sorry. Councilmember Andrews. Councilmember Wahab,
Sorry. I just wanted to make the motion, but to Commissioner Okenda's point, I do want to say, we have a lot of people working and volunteering for the city, and I think Ms. Lawrence's work stands out incredibly to me, primarily because she has been a very strong advocate on housing and a wide variety of other issues. I personally can say I have learned a great deal from her advocacy, even when we don't see eye to eye on some things. I definitely feel like I am educated every time I speak to her. And, that is what community service is about. It's not always, just the, us as electeds and so forth, but definitely community members who volunteer their time, give their, blood, sweat, and tears in a lot of ways that are not as visible. But she has done a lot of great work. I know that there will be a significant hole without her being on the Community Services Commission and, all the other things she does behind the scenes. So I just personally want to thank her as a friend, as a commissioner, and as a Hayward resident. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And Councilmember Andrews.
Yes, I just wanted to thank Public Works for providing a really thorough response to my one quick question. It ended up turning into a big report in the table. And I know that's a lot of hard work to do last minute. So just wanted to acknowledge them for all that. Thank you.
Okay, and with that, and I think, even though we had some comments here, they really weren't germane to whether we're going to support or not support any of these motions or any of these items on the collective motion. And, and I would certainly add my thanks to Commissioner Lawrence for her contributions to the city during the time of her being on this commission. But with that, and I believe with the motion for the items 1 through 7 on the consent calendar made by Councilmember Wahab and seconded by Councilmember Andrews. Did I remember that correct? Okay. Madam City Clerk, will you call the roll?
You're muted. Yes, Madam Mayor. Councilmember Andrews.
Aye.
Councilmember Lamnin.
Aye.
Councilmember Marquez.
Aye.
Councilmember Salinas.
Aye.
Councilmember Wahab.
Yes.
Councilmember Cermeño.
Aye.
Mayor Halliday.
Yes.
Thank you.
And with that, we will now move on to our work session item this evening, item number 8, which is a work session on the fiscal year 2022 city budget. So this is budget work session number 2. I do believe we got through pretty much all the operating budget on our marathon all-day session this past Saturday. But I'll turn it over to, Mr. Clausen, or Mr. Clausen, are you with us?
I'll just jump in, Mayor.
Okay.
Yeah. So really, this was just a placeholder item in case we didn't get through any of the departmental presentations for Saturday. So we got through all of those. So there's really no need to have any discussion on this item. I believe Ms. Go was actually trying to make public comment on this item over the weekend, but it sounds like she made her public comments during the public comment period. So I just wanted, that's all that this item is right now. So there's no other staff presentation or work.
And it's a work session. So see. I do see a council member. Okay, so Councilmember Salinas, did you have a question? I'm going to go to the public comment and then I'll come back to you if that's okay. All right, so I think we had perhaps a public comment on this from Artavia Berry.
Oh, good afternoon, everyone, or good evening, everyone. I actually didn't realize my hand was up, so apologies for that. But since I'm talking, good evening and great to see you all. Excited about tonight's agenda and reiterate the absolutely excellent service from Commissioner Lawrence. She will absolutely be missed, and we'll take a moment to also express support for Mr. Stewart's request for restored, additional funding for this year's Juneteenth, and would ask the council to seriously consider what it would take to fund an in-person live event at a citywide scale next year. There's a ton of excitement from the community around this, and really excited to see it happen. So it's all that from an accidental press of the button. Thanks, folks.
All right, but it does probably relate to the city budget, so thank you for the comment, and we will. And then I think Councilmember Salinas.
Yeah, I just wanted to make a couple of just a brief statements that I did not have time, because I know Saturday we were just sort of back to back presentations. But my expressions are towards the city manager, of course, Ms. McAdoo, and our budget director, our finance director, Clausen. I just wanted to say thank you very much for the budget. This year, unlike a lot of the other years, visually, the budget is laid out nice. It's a visually readable and easily identifiable budget. And some of the like the first 20 or so pages, I think the charts and graphs are accessible, and and so I appreciated that. It's a big document, and it tells it's the budget. If for those who may not have read it or seen it yet, the budget tells more than just how much money we bring in and how much money we spend. The budget also reflects the history of our city and sort of the policy direction that historically our budget has taken. And I think it also shows stewardship, a historical timeline of stewardship of the budget. And so I just wanted to, appreciate the city manager and appreciate our finance director, Clausen, for your work. And I should also say that I believe it's the second or third page where it's always good to see, which is the acknowledgement of the award of one of the award-winning budget. It's not only a good budget, but it's an award-winning budget. So, anyways, and it's not the first time that this budget has earned that distinction. Our finance department has always been a top-notch department, and it's good to see that we maintain that standard. So that was it. Please tell the team thank you.
All right. Yes, I will just echo that it's really a lot more readable document than you might think with the name budget. And it's not just a lot of numbers, although it does have a lot of numbers in it. It has a lot of description of our city operations, how our city government is organized, how each of the departments is organized. And there's just a lot of information there. So, I would urge people to take a look at it. This item is on here tonight in case we didn't finish going through the operating budget on Saturday, but since we did, we don't really have a lot more to discuss. And I will just say that if there are members of the public who do wish to comment, it is coming back on June 1st for the public hearing and hopefully adoption. And with that, I'm sorry, Councilmember Wahab, did you want to say something too?
Yeah, just real quick. Question for our city manager, sorry. I just want to make sure that, if you can just address this, nothing too heavy or workload wise. We do plan on making, just for a lot of the viewers, and I know that a lot of the bargaining groups are on the call too, we do plan on making our bargaining groups whole for the concessions that they have made in the past, as well as the ongoing efforts in regards to public safety, correct?
That has been the council's expressed intent. And so, as I've mentioned, we have to work with each of the groups to negotiate a side letter to repay those concessions that were made. So we're already in discussions with a couple of the groups. And so we will continue to have those conversations and bring that back as quickly as is feasible. And recognizing that, while we are hoping that the stimulus dollars materialize, and while we can't use the stimulus dollars to repay concessions, we need to make sure that those dollars are here and replacing the revenues that we lost during COVID in order to make sure that the budget is sound. So we just want to make sure that we actually have received those dollars first before we implement any of those.
Spending before we get it, right? I appreciate it. And to Councilmember Salinas' point, I do just want to reiterate a very big thank you to yourself, your entire team, Director Clausen and his entire team. I do want to say that COVID has kind of made us especially for Director Clausen and his team, he had to do basically 2 budgets last year. And, we're still kind of working around COVID. I also want to thank every single bargaining group that has made a concession and still worked incredibly hard for our residents, from providing, the vaccination clinics, as well as the testing sites, as well as, again, like I said, making the concessions. So I really appreciate the team effort, and just wanted to say a big thank you.
Okay, thank you. And with that, as I said, this will be coming back in 2 weeks on June 1st for public hearing and adoption or action by the council. And with that, we will now move on to another component of our budget. Item number 9, that would be the fiscal year, fiscal years 2022 to 2031. I will turn this now over to, I think, Public Works Director Ameri.
Correct.
Yes, Madam Mayor. Thank you and good evening, Madam Mayor and council members. Before we get into the substance of this evening's presentation, I would like to say a few words regarding the format of the FY22 CIP. As some of you may recall, years ago, staff used to develop the CIP document in hard copy format, send